Hey all you lot, and welcome to another sexy episode of News You Might Have Missed. I'm your host Tom Lord, and on this show we look at a mighty mix of eclectic excerpts ranging from news outlets, blogs and tabloid rags based around the globe. On today's show we've got a New Jersey woman is denied a $2.5 million win due to a technical glitch, a Pennsylvania resident found a significant amount of buried cocaine whilst gardening, and a USPS postman was caught racing and hitting 105 miles per hour in a 60 miles per hour zone. But first, a man is moving his house 12 feet so he can officially live in his house. According to Wakax, Rick Weston is moving his whole house from Huntington to Bolton, a journey of just 12 feet. He explained, "If I move it to there, it's in Bolton, and by moving it to there, they're letting me live in it year round. If I leave it here, I can't." The issue at hand here is zoning regulations. Weston wants to transform his home from a seasonal camp to a year-round residence, but Huntington prohibits that kind of conversion in woodland and conservation districts. But across the town line in Bolton, this is okay. He's already cracking on and built a foundation outside, and he's going to hire a company to pick up his house and move it just over the town line. But town officials in both Huntington and Bolton have declined requests for comment. So your house is seasonal, just live in your car for half the year. Sure, you've got to wash in a puddle and fend off amorous truckers, but think of how slim you'd be when you get all that lovely pneumonia. A New Jersey woman has been denied a $2.5 million slot machine win due to a technical glitch. According to the New York Post, a New Jersey woman said she won more than $2 million on an Atlantic City slot machine. But when she went to collect her winnings, the casino claimed the jackpot was due to a technical glitch and therefore didn't count. After losing $1,000 on various machines that day, Jesus, Beale started playing on the Wheel of Fortune slot machine. She gave it 6 or 7 spins, and that's when she said she hit the jackpot. She said she eventually got the words wild, wild times 2, and a spin on the diagonal on the slot area of the machine. This entitled her to a free spin on the Wheel of Fortune wheel at the top of the machine. And after spinning, the wheel ended up on the word jackpot with a $sign. And she said she heard the words, "You've won." Then 3D gold coins came out and a blue light went off, she said. And then people behind me got up and they're all like, oh my god, lady, you're a millionaire. But when she used the call button to summon help, a tilt message popped up indicating the machine was unplayable due to an error or malfunction. A Bally's employee then told her she didn't win before telling her to leave the casino. But her attorney, Mike DeCrosset, said he's preparing a legal complaint against Bally's and its gaming company, International Game Technology, for $2.56 million because she hit the $1.28 million jackpot with a multiplier. In addition, he plans to file a $1 million plus emotional distress claim. A spokesperson for Bally's said, Bally's has no comment on the incident, as we're only a poor casino who houses the machine. And an IGT spokesperson said it is cooperating with the casino operator's investigation of this matter. But the woman who had a heart attack a year ago said she's hoping and praying she gets the money, particularly before she dies. That's a pretty morbid final statement, but maybe that's what they're banking on? I'm not a lawyer, but I'm not sure dead people can file lawsuits. A scientist has stepped on poisonous snakes over 40,000 times in a bid to research snake bites. According to NOS, a Brazilian biologist stepped on the venomous Jararaca lancet snake 40,000 times to investigate the animal's biting behaviour. He wore a specially made protective boot. The biologist used 116 animals for his experiments. After the test snakes had been used to the research room for around 15 minutes, the biologist stepped with the safety boot directly next to the snakes or gently on their heads, bellies or tails. During the research, Alves Nunes, probably not how you say his name, stepped on and off the snakes a total of 40,480 times. He was not, though, injured in any of the snake bites because the fangs did not penetrate his shoes. The research showed that the smaller the animal, the more likely it is to bite, just like people. And the research also showed that animals are more aggressive at higher temperatures, and that the chance of a bite is greatest if you stand on a snake's head. Obvious. Why is this guy not being sponsored by some sort of industrial boot company? I'm fairly sure venomous snake bite proof would be a pretty sweet selling point. I'd even buy him for working in the garden. If it can stop a snake, then surely it can stop my baby's soft skin by getting ravaged by garden nettles. A woman was stuck inside her Tesla in 46-degree heat after starting a vehicle update. According to the International Business Times, Tesla owner Brianna Janelle thought the software update was only going to take around 24 minutes, but then she found herself trapped inside her vehicle in Costa Mesa, California for nearly 40 minutes, and she reported temperatures inside the Tesla reaching 103 degrees. Janelle said she grew anxious about running out of air, as the windows wouldn't even roll down. Tesla apparently offers, though, manual door releases for situations with depleted power, but Janelle opted to wait, fearing potential damage to her car if she used them. In the TikTok video, which has gained nearly 30 million views, she said, "I'm just stuck in here, roasting like a freaking chicken dripping sweat." In the video, she confirmed her eventual escape and the blessed relief of air conditioning. She said, "I literally made it out of my car, with sweat dripping down her face, and the air conditioning has never felt so good. I've never felt better. I feel like I've just took a bath. What a lovely afternoon being boiled alive like a pack of Uncle Ben's rice." Whatever happened to Uncle Ben? Whatever happened to Zippity Doodah? Australia's richest woman is seeking the removal of an unsavoury portrait from an art exhibition. Oh god, that would ruin your confidence. According to CNN, mining magnate Gina Reinhardt has reportedly called for the National Gallery of Australia to remove her portrait, one of 21 individual works that make up a single piece in Namatjira's exhibition Australia in Colour. The exhibition has been running at the gallery in the Australian capital of Canberra since March. Other subjects in the piece include the late Queen Elizabeth II, American musician Jimi Hendrix, Australian Aboriginal rights activist Vincent Lingiari, and the former Prime Minister of Australia, Scott Morrison. Some of them, yeah. But the NGA said in a statement to CNN on Thursday that it welcomes the public having a dialogue on our collection and displays. And Namatjira said in a statement that he paints people who are wealthy, powerful or significant, people who have had an influence on this country and on me personally, whether directly or indirectly, and whether for good or for bad. He further said, "I paint the world as I see it. People don't have to like my paintings, but I hope they take the time to look and think, why has this Aboriginal bloke painted these powerful people? What's he trying to say?" As if she bit at that. Everyone knows at the moment you fight back, it's either true or it bothers you. If she'd have said no, no one would have known about it. This is akin to the school bully always saying he wasn't gay. How are you doing with your husband now, Ollie? iPhone owners are saying that the latest iOS update is bringing back deleted nudes. According to TheVerge.com, some iPhone owners are reporting that after updating their phones to iOS 17.5, their deleted photos, some of which that were quite old, are popping up again. And iOS beta testers had the same complaints about the bug last week. The people who are reporting the apparent bug say that they're seeing old photos appear in their Recents album after Monday's update. iOS does give users the option to restore deleted photos, but after 30 days, they're supposed to be permanently removed. The person who started this thread on Reddit claimed that saucy photos they had deleted years ago were back on their phone, and another person claimed that around 300 of their old pictures, some of which were revealing, appeared on an iPad they'd wiped per Apple guidelines and sold to a friend. But when contacted by The Verge, Apple didn't immediately reply to request for comment. How many of you already checked your iPhone? Because I did. Now, jokes. I've got an Android with a poverty spec camera, and any nudes I take on it look like an 8-year-old's brass rubbing. Teenagers are being tipped to plug the UK train driver shortage. According to the BBC, the government is asking for views on reducing the minimum age from 20 to 18 in a consultation running until the 13th of June. The number of train drivers due to retire in the next 5 years has prompted concerns of a shortage, as their average age at the moment is 48. Rail Minister Hugh Merriman said the department wanted to open the door for young people considering transport as a career, and this proposal could give school leavers a clear path into the sector. And the idea was welcomed by industry groups and the main train drivers union. And Mr. Whelan further added, not only will the plan increase the number of drivers, but we also believe that those at the pointy end of the train should reflect the communities they serve, and that includes having young people in cabs. Great, just what everyone wants, even later trains. If they can't get actual adults to drive 100+ mile/hour tubes, then I think we're all knackered. I can already hear the announcements. The next train is delayed due to an acne explosion. Dutch gas network Alliander is using robot gas detecting dogs. According to NU.NL, the detection robot, called Lass-E, legendary, walks on 4 legs and looks for leaks in places where pipes are located. The robot does this with a built-in sensor that can detect gas leaks. According to Victor Slutier, researcher at Saxion, the robot has now been successfully tested. The organisations are now investigating how the robot works between people and other traffic, and how it can assist with inspections. Companies such as Alliander are required by the European Union to inspect their gas pipelines more often, but are faced with growing staff shortages. The grid operator hopes to be able to use the robot dog as an inspector in the future. Don't we already have gas detecting dogs? F***ing Amazon. Don't we already have gas detecting dogs? I mean, my old dog used to be able to smell my farts from half a mile away. Made it all the sadder when I always blamed him to my dad for them. I'll never get the look of his little face after he got to spend another night in the conservatory. I'm sorry, Winston Churchill. A woman who cooked fried chicken on a train as a passenger says she didn't do anything wrong. According to RTL News, a woman who fried chicken on a Dutch train said it's not stated in the rules that it's not allowed. This is after images of the young woman frying drumsticks in a pan on a Dutch train are circulating TikTok. It's not even the first time that the TikToker has prepared food on public transport with her electric pan. She's made spicy noodles before, and that video was viewed over 3 million times. And lots of people liked it, but in the video where she cooks chicken, which now has almost 1 million views, it's received many negative reactions, with one person saying, "That's indeed very nice for people with lung problems," and another said, "It seems very dangerous to me," and according to the spokesperson of the Dutch train operator NS, they said, "We do not have regulations stating that you are not allowed to use an electric pan on the train. But that's not the intention. We're going back to the rules of the game," whatever that means. You should not be a burden to anyone, and you should not create unsafe situations or nuisance. If you fry a chicken leg, that is the case. We don't want to see that on a train. Many people understand that as well. There is almost no need for rules for that, and ultimately, the decision is up to the conductor. It's a human job, but you should also think a bit yourself, as it remains public transport where we have to take others into account. And frying chicken on the train is an example of something that clearly crosses that border. I once got a lad thrown off the train because he kept spraying his aftershave, never mind cooking a fried chicken. The only smells I want are the waft of overpriced coffee and the fragrant aroma of an Avanti West Coast out-of-order toilet. It's what makes a £300 price tag worthwhile. An ambulance has collided with a moose whilst on the way to another moose collision. According to globalnews.ca, the first crash was reported just after 1 o'clock on Highway 60 near Tea Lake in Alliander Park. Police said a vehicle struck a moose, left the roadway and then hit a tree. Then one of the 2 Muscoa Paramedic Service ambulances responding to the scene also collided with a moose, adding that the ambulance was extensively damaged, but no one was injured. The Ontario Provincial Police said the officers responding to the first collision had also just finished investigating another crash between a car and a moose. The police further said the OPP warns motorists that an increasing number of moose have been coming out of the forest and onto roads, particularly in the area of Alliander Park, in an effort to escape the swarms of insects. Please observe posted speed limits in order to ensure you have adequate reaction and keep your eyes on the roads and ditches ahead. Isn't the word moose great? Moose. 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 I need to get a real job. A Pennsylvania resident found a significant amount of buried cocaine whilst gardening. According to CBS News, Lower Swatara Township Police said they were called to a home on Riverview Drive at around 7:30 PM on Saturday for reports of a suspicious item that had been found. When police got there, they said they spoke to a resident who was doing yard work, as while they were gardening, they found a suspicious item, which police took for testing, or very possibly testing. Police said they later learned and confirmed with testing that the item was a significant amount of cocaine packaged for sale. Investigators entered the item into evidence, and police said a case has been opened. Police though didn't provide any other details or speculate on how the cocaine got there or how long it had been buried. You call that significant? That wouldn't keep the average British Christian going for more than an hour. I mean, sure, you get through the boring bit, aka the dunking, but how would you get through the traditional mother-son dance to Who Let the Dogs Out? Foreign diplomats owe more than £143 million in unpaid congestion charges. According to the BBC, the US Embassy owes the largest amount at almost £14 million. The Embassy of Japan owes over £10.1 million, and little old Togo only owes £40. The figures from Transport for London relate to unpaid fees and fines accrued by diplomats between the launch of the congestion charge in 2003 and the end of last year. And in a statement, the American embassy said it believed that they were exempt from the charge, claiming it's a tax. But TfL hit back, saying, "We in the UK government are clear that the congestion charge is a charge for a service and not a tax. This means diplomats are not exempt from paying it." The majority of embassies in London do pay the charge, but there remains a stubborn minority who refuse to do so, despite our representations through diplomatic channels. And we will continue to pursue all unpaid congestion charge fees and related penalty charge notices, and are pushing for this matter to be taken up at the International Court of Justice. Fair play to Togo for only owing 40 quid. I mean, sure, their human rights record is atrocious and none of the girls there have a clitoris, but at least they respect the rule of law in this country. Maybe they're not so bad after all. A USPS postman has been caught racing and hitting 105 miles per hour in a 60 zone. According to In Short News, a newly released video shows bodycam footage from a Sandusky County deputy during a traffic stop on Route 20, west of Fremont. The deputy had pulled over a USPS mail van for speeding at over 100 miles an hour in a 60 zone. I didn't think they could get to 60. The Sandusky County traffic report states that the van had no plates and the driver appeared to be racing a Ford Mustang. When stopped, the deputy asked, "Is there a reason you're going over 100? And further said, "Yeah, I mean, that Mustang took off. He caught my attention and then you blew by him and I was pacing you at like 105. The postal worker identified herself as being from the Fremont post office, but the case is now closed and has paid $50 as the first installment of a $240 fine for the traffic violation after receiving a verbal warning for racing. And spokesperson from the USPS said, "Drew Brown is an employee. It is under investigation as a matter of policy, and we are unable to comment further on a specific individual personnel matter." I'm not being funny, but the postal service should be incentivized for going really, really fast. 10 seconds after I devoured a large pizza and 8 big dips for the 5th time this week, that questionable super slim powder needs to be here before the bone-crushing sadness hits. Time is money, people. Mother Teresa said that. A scientific study found microplastics in every human testicle they examined. According to The Guardian, scientists say the discovery may be linked to the decades-long decline in sperm counts in men around the world. The study tested 23 human testes, as well as 47 testes from pet dogs. They found microplastic pollution in every sample. The human testicles, though, have been preserved, so their sperm count could not be measured. However, the sperm count in the dog's testes could be assessed, and was lower in samples with higher contamination with PVC. The study demonstrates a correlation, but further research is needed to prove microplastics could cause sperm counts to fall. The study also found that the human testicles had a plastic concentration almost 3 times higher than the dog testes, 330 micrograms per gram of tissue compared with 123 micrograms. What's even scarier is the male testes that were examined were obtained from postmortems in 2016, with a range in men from 16 to 88 when they died. And one of the researchers said, the impact on the younger generation might be more concerning, now that there's more plastic than ever in the environment. So there's a 99% chance that my testicles have microplastics inside them. Great. That's probably why I always have the urge to scratch them, and if I put them in front of the fire, they melt a bit. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe if you do so fancy. Also, if you think there's any news that we might have missed, please get in contact on the email in the description below. See you next time for another jam-packed news you might have missed. Stay gravy.